represent approximately 600 landowners in the town of Vestal who are considering leasing our land for natural gas exploration. We've spent an enormous amount of time evaluating the pros and cons of the opportunity, come to the conclusion that the current technology that's afforded by many of the larger corporations today, specifically with closed-loop technology. We definitely support closed-loop technology within New York State. We believe that the CJIS regulations that are coming forward will address most of the needs that would be required to cover the industry's vulnerabilities.
I was an ardent anti-driller until I learned the facts. From the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection's website, I learned that between January 1st, 2008 and August 31st of this year, there have been 8,867 wells started and drilled in Pennsylvania. Of these, 1,861 wells are in the Marcellus. And one of the reasons we're here today is because of the concern and the publicity over some of those wells. The facts are that out of those 1,861 wells, there have been problems with 3 in the Dimmock area and 1 in Clearfield County. None of these problems has been related to hydrofracking as the stimulation of the formation. Now this is a success rate at 99.84% in safe and successful natural gas extraction using hydrofracking, and the 0.16% failure rate had nothing to do with fracking. This is a gap in public knowledge and information that should be known.
I believe hydraulic fracturing builds wealth, saves jobs, and creates hope, and conserves and protects our freedom to grow and prosper. In closing, solar panels and windmills cannot and will not meet today's energy needs. Landowners, workers, citizens, do not be silent. Do not let the opportunity to develop the Marcellus Shale pass. EPA, please do not stand in the way of a technology that works. I mind hydraulic fracturing in the name of technologies that do not. Alternative energy is no alternative. Energy is life. Thank you.
What the chemicals in frack water are, since nobody seems to know. The fracking fluid is 99.5% sand, and the other 1/2 of 1% is salt, barium, calcium, iron, potassium, sodium, strontium, and sulfate. Jay Smith did that analysis. And these are not secrets.
Could you drink it?
Thank you.
My name is Jackie Brew. I live in Lawrenceville, Tioga County, Pennsylvania. I am president of the new Pennsylvania chapter of the National Association of Royalty Owners. More importantly, I'm here as a landowner. My husband and I have farmed for 33 years. We're stewards of the land, true environmentalists, and we are pro-responsible drilling. We have a hydraulically fractured horizontal well on our land. There are 17 pads in our township with 1 to 6 wells per pad. Is there documented evidence that hydraulic fracturing has, in fact, contaminated drinking water? Number 2, how likely is it to occur in the future? You can certainly study current practices and, more importantly, developing practices as they continue to improve. You can look at the SRVC's model to regulate the quantity and quality of water. There's a gap in the knowledge distinction between the actual hydraulic fracturing, gas migration related to proper well casing, and surface spills. We own the land, we live there, we drink the water, we've raised our family with income from the production of crops, livestock, and oil and gas development. We asked the EPA to produce scientific study as directed by Congress on the relationship between hydraulic fracturing and drinking water, period. Pennsylvania and other states should continue to regulate operations within their borders to protect our land, water, health, and other resources as they have done for the last 100 years. I am pro-clean energy and U.S. energy independence.
They blame the miscue at Duncan Creek on fracking, even though real culprits were the coal mines. They were quick to blame fracking for pollution in Pavilion, Wyoming, even though other sources were more likely culprits. Close to 1 million wells have been fracked with few incidents. Until renewables become viable, natural gas is the safest and cleanest source of energy. Our communities are poor. We have high unemployment. Our young people are forced to move away to find work. Many of our farmers are on the verge of losing their farms.
I urge the EPA to resist the temptation to expand the scope of the study to become a comprehensive examination of shale gas drilling. The congressional mandate for the study is clear, in that the EPA should restrict its inquiry to determine if hydraulic fracturing poses a serious threat to drinking water vis-a-vis subsurface migration through the underlying strata.
Hey, welcome everybody. My fellow Americans, we are embarking on the greatest journey of our current times here. We're all fellow Americans on the same journey. We're on the same team. You folks and us, both sides of the issue. Let us all come together as one force, hone our edges to move forward in a positive direction. If this can be done right, let's do it right for the betterment of all Americans.
You're looking at 1,000 gas wells in the city limits of Fort Worth. 1,000 that have been developed with the current fracking technology. Since 1999, that area has seen the development of those wells. Most importantly, though, is that the health indices by National Institute of Health have shown that their health is actually improved. That was contrary to what I thought it was on, based on all this facts being thrown around. So please look at that. Cancer, respiratory problems, death rates, low birth rates, all those things have improved. Very important.
I just want to be sure that EPA recognizes that methane often occurs naturally in groundwater wells and shale gas regions. Hydraulic fracturing opponents should stop and implying these are always natural gas-related problems. They aren't. Thank you.
Study of the facts will show that hydraulic fracturing has not contaminated underground sources of drinking water since inception. In 1999, the Groundwater Protection Council found that hydraulic fracturing poses no threat to the underground sources of drinking water. In 2003, the Interstate Oil and Gas Compact Commission found the same thing. The Joint Landowners Coalition of New York completed an updated survey in July of this year, and every state that has hydraulic fracturing reported that there was not any contamination of drinking water sources due to hydraulic fracturing. For my county of 40,000 people, the lease money alone will bring in approximately $80 million. That's the equivalent of 2,000 jobs paying $40,000 a year. Energy is a national security issue, and we have the opportunity to at hand to produce much more energy on our own and reduce our dependence on foreign sources.
Too many times I've seen political appointees and elected officials overrule sound science because it does not fit their agenda. The elected officials, for the most part, do not care about what is technically correct, but only about keeping their positions. Please don't let them do that.
Please let the science and engineering determine the final document and not the misleading misinformation that has been written on the internet blogs. Thank you for your time in this very important matter that will help the United States of America move closer to energy independence with a clean, environmentally friendly natural gas. And as chairman of the Kirkwood Gas Coalition, our coalition will not sign a lease unless the gas company has a proven, safe environmental record. Thank you very much.
The question the EPA has to answer is fracking safe. We need them to stay on that topic and determine if indeed there is an issue. Since fracking has been going on in some form in vertical wells for over 60 years, we need to know if there's a history of contamination. EPA Manager Steve Hare, Director of the Drinking Water Protection Division, on the 15th of February this year, told the Dow Wire Service that he has no information that states haven't been doing a good job already in managing the industry, and that he hadn't seen any documented case of hydrofracking process having contaminated water supply.